you're ready, it's rolling. Obviously, we'll cut it.
That's a worry.
Yeah.
Tune into Is It Fast live every single Wednesday, 7 p.m. GMT. You are welcome.
Hi, I'm Daniel Rowbottom, racing the British Touring Car Championship with Team Dynamics, and you're watching Is It Fast?
Hi guys, it's Nick Hamilton, and you're watching Is It Fast?
It's 7 p.m. It's a Wednesday. Must be time for Is It Fast.
Oh, dearie me, what a busy week we have had. Welcome to Is It Fast Live, the weekly live podcast from the team at Is It Fast. Remember to follow us on your social media platform of choice, not just to watch this live program where we hand-pick our favourite stories from the last 7 days and distribute them to you via your eyeballs and your ears. But we also have feature-length films, feature documentaries, motorsport that comes to you live and in highlight form, as well as written commentary from the world of automotive and motorsport from our team of incredible writers on our website. And as per usual, I'm not allowed to do this on my own, so we contractually brought in another chap with exactly the same name, spelled exactly the same way. The Stu. How you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Thank you for once again having me on. And after the excitement of having Brad Gravitt on the show last week, we're kind of back to the old Clays and Porridge version of the podcast, but it's still nice. Let's be fair. I don't know if I told you this. Unfortunately, I left my coat on the bus at the weekend. So I went down to the depot to try and claim it back. So I told the nice guy behind the desk, because I left my coat on the bus. He says, "Can you describe it?" And I said, "Yes, it was big, loads of seats." So when it stopped, it went shh. Personally, I always like to act surprised at my poor decision making that leads to negative consequences. And on that note, welcome to Is It Fast?
That was a cracking one. And on this week's... I actually quite enjoyed that one. This week, we have an awful lot to go through, as we do every single week. We go from Australia all the way to... is it Taunton? No. Burniston in Wales. In Derbyshire. Don't know why I said that. So... as we grab our trains, grab our coats off that bus, and head immediately to the first stop of this week, which just so happens to be Australia. Awful long way away. Why are we going to Australia? Well, quite simply, it is race weekend in the world of Formula 1 for the first time in about 2 weeks. But Australia is going to play host to the Grand Prix of Australia for the first time since...
Ideal.
I know, yeah. It's amazing. What a coincidence. For the first time since 2019, which is just such a horrendously long time, obviously outside of the realms of control and even whimsy when you think about the last 24 months that we've all been through. F1 back in Australia. How are we feeling about this? I mean, it's pretty... apart from the time difference, which makes it pretty bad for a fan at this end, but how are we feeling about it?
You know what? I really do like the Aussie GP, but I always get the feel that the season loses a bit of momentum going there. Basically, Australia should be closer, and it's just selfish and darn inconvenient of them. But it does give the team, especially this season, a chance to make some nice early tweaks and adjustments. So for that, I'm kind of grateful. 2-year hiatus, as you correctly said. Who was the last champion in 2019?
Oh my gosh.
Do you remember?
I don't. I think it... okay, I'm going to guess, though. Was it Vettel?
Oh, I'm afraid it wasn't. No, it was Bottas in the Mercedes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, this is obviously... it's a great Grand Prix there. First time they're holding the event in a couple of years. The track at Albert Park in Melbourne is still going to be hosting it until 2025. Do you think there's going to be a couple of year bump on to 2027 to kind of make up for the ones that they've missed out on? I don't know. But
Australia has played host to quite a few Grand Prix over the years. It has quite a rich motorsport heritage, of course. So the idea of F1 not being in Australia is not something I'm imagining, if I'm honest. I think it's always going to have a home there. They have, of course, made tweaks to the circuit this year, I'm led to believe.
Oh, have they? Because that's interesting. Because for me, The track at Albert Park, Melbourne, isn't the most inspiring circuit in the calendar. It looks a little bit like a worn-out bottle opener, which kind of sums up Australia quite nicely.
It really does.
But come on, let's put our cards on the table. Who's going to win it? Well, obviously, this is going out before testing and any qualifying, so we don't know who's doing what.
Yeah,
who's for it?
I think Red Bull are going to have another very strong showing, if I'm honest, just because of the way that the track is laid out. It would be lovely to see Bottas win in a Ferrari-engined Alfa Romeo, just from my perspective. But of course, there is only one Australian on the track, and it's this guy. It's Daniel Ricciardo. If you're watching, you're just seeing a nice image of Daniel Ricciardo with his D3R wine, which is in partnership with St. Hugo's vineyard or winery or wine company in Australia. And they've done a limited edition shoey. Now, a shoey, if you don't know, is what Daniel Ricciardo does when he wins. He sticks the champagne in his racing boot and he drinks from it. Well, guess what? You can now get a red wine or white wine, I imagine, but you wouldn't want to do that. Decanter, made hand-blown glass decanter. There's only 1,100 of these, and I think you get one with each of the Daniel Ricciardo bottles of wine, and they're 700 quid.
I want to say that due to the time difference, this is on April 1st.
No, it's completely.
We've just kind of hit here.
It's completely real. I would love to see Daniel Ricciardo win. I would love to see Daniel Ricciardo win the Australian Grand Prix. I think Danny Rick is my favourite Formula One driver on the grid, just because I really want to drink wine with him. I think he just seems like a really nice dude. Like a lot of them seem nice, do you know what I mean? But he seems like the kind of guy that would fit in at Is It Fast HQ quite nicely. So, Danny, if you're watching, mate, you're more than welcome to Is It Fast.
And he's also a very vocal supporter of Movember as well.
He is.
Makes him even better as a person, because we know that's true.
Yeah, which is obviously Movember, very close to our heart here. So I think, if I'm honest, I think it's going to be Verstappen. It's going to win it. I wouldn't be surprised if it's basically a repeat of Saudi Arabia, with a Red Bull Ferrari 1-2. I'm not sure what order it's going to be in, but I'd love to see Danny Rick. I'd love to see Danny Rick win, but I just don't think he's going to with that McLaren underneath him. What about you? How are you feeling about it?
I'm going for Charles Leclerc, Ferrari.
Okay.
I think they're going to come roaring back. What I find is interesting, though, Sebastian Vettel returning. He's been given the all clear after missing the first two opening rounds.
Yep.
He won 2 of the previous 3 Grand Prix in Australia. Now, admittedly, this is a few years ago, and he did it in a Ferrari, not in an Aston Martin, which they're still yet to get a point so far this season. But I think a little bit of previous experience is going to help him. Could maybe find himself up there, maybe not necessarily podium, but could really help kickstart their season.
Yeah, I mean, he's super talented, super talented. But to be fair, you would be gambling massively on an Aston Martin winning. And where else can you gamble? Las Vegas. That's the massive. I'm just going to preempt that. Massive news out of F1. It was probably the worst kept secret of the last little while. But Formula 1 is going to the home of glitz, glamour, and sleazy decisions. It's off to Las Vegas. I think I'm really looking forward to this. I think this is a cracking result.
Yeah, Monte Carlo on steroids. This is what we've been looking for all this time. F1 announcing a 10-year race deal with Las Vegas kicking off next season. What I think is going to make it really interesting is that F1 Cheats have thrashed out a deal that this venue over the next decade is going to be worth about £1 billion to the sport.
Wow.
So an American company is now taking the rights to F1, and now we have 3 racetracks in that country. Isn't that a massive shock? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Obviously, adding to Texas and Miami in the calendar. F1 kind of turning their backs on past venues like Hockenheim, Nürburgring, Istanbul. It's a shame these ones are being forgotten about, but you can hate all you want. The sight of an F1 race through the Las Vegas Strip is going to be epic.
Yeah, I
Let's be honest.
completely agree. There's a couple of really good articles on this on our Is It Fast website, isitfast.co.uk. Type Is It Fast into your search engine, you will find us. Written by two of our up-and-coming and established F1 stars and journalists, Ellie and Timo. Sorry, Van Schitter. Oh my God, I got it completely wrong. But Ellie did write an article about why there's too many races in the F1 calendar. That's why she is on my mind. Make sure you do head over and read all of our F1 content on the Is It Fast website. I think it's great. I'm not too worried about the fact that F1 is forgetting or moving away from its traditional homeland. I'd rather see races in the US, if I'm honest, than Saudi. I think at the moment it's, and certainly Russia, I think it's easier to get into bed with for a variety of well-known, well-documented humanitarian reasons. Whatever you think of the US of A, it's probably got a slightly better track record than Saudi Arabia at this moment in time. I'm just going to say it. When it comes to human rights, probably, although someone's bound to tell me that I'm wrong on that. But Las Vegas, I mean, what better excuse to go to Vegas? Go to Vegas, have a great time, watch some F1, go home. I mean, it's absolutely. Yeah. I'm looking forward to Miami as well, to be honest, in the US. I mean, they've just released an incredible track, kind of online track thing that you can virtually have a look around the track for Miami as well. So F1 are busy. And as you say, American owners. Makes sense to be coming to the US.
Got to say, I would love the pits stops at Vegas to have a little bit of a special feature, maybe like a slot machine, so you could gamble on booths or being held in the pit lanes. That would be awesome.
I agree.
I
agree.
Let's try and get this put in.
Yeah. I think it's great. I'm hard to disagree with one of our writers, Ellie, about the fact that the F1 calendar is chock-a-block, but it's money-making business like any other now, and Vegas on the cards. But do tell us what you think. Are you looking forward to the Australian Grand Prix? Are you also looking forward to the fact that F1 is coming to the home of glitz, glamour, and Bellagio's? It is off to Vegas. Stu, have you ever been to Vegas?
I have, yes. I was taken by my mum and dad when I was about 13, which is obviously a brilliant place for a family holiday. I didn't see my dad for about 4 days. I'm guessing he had a great time. No, very lucky he got to stay in the Excalibur Hotel, which is based on King Arthur, Knights of the Round Table. Absolutely classy. Phenomenal hotel. It really was. Yeah.
It sounds classy. There you go. That's what I was trying to get out of you. Excalibur, if you want to take us to Las Vegas in 2023, we will do a live show from your hotel.
I'm now old enough to gamble and make even worse decisions.
Yes, I am not a good gambler. But tell us.
Of course you're not. You do a podcast about motorsport, mate.
I know. It's terrible, isn't it? But tell us, are you looking forward to the Australian Grand Prix? Who is going to win? And what do you think about Grand Prix going to Las Vegas? The F1 Grand Prix, that is.
Tune into Is It Fast live every single Wednesday, 7 p.m. GMT. You are welcome.
News from Toyota now. So Toyota have been well known for making quite aggressive cars over the last 2 years, maybe even 3 years, when they showcased the GR Yaris. Well, they are back with the GR. I know. They are back with the GR Corolla. Now, if you're listening to this, the GR Corolla is a Toyota Corolla that has been given quite the dose of testosterone. Hot off the heels of the GR Yaris, they're giving us another hot hatch to get excited about. The family hatchback Corolla has been given a turbocharged 1.6-litre 3-pot engine, which we know from the Yaris, with the power hiked to 300 brake horsepower and the torque boosted to 273 pound-foot. Pretty crazy stuff. Of course, you get all the bells and trim and whistles that you are used to with Toyota. And if you don't want to go for the crazy circuit edition, which looks like it is aggressive as it is, you can just get the slightly more stealth version. However, the three rather interesting looking exhausts at the back will be able to show what you are made of when you are on the road. Pretty pretty crazy. It's pretty loud, I'm led to believe, within emissions controls as well. It's made of lightweight materials. Carbon fiber, of course, makes a showing throughout the chassis and the interior trim, meaning that you can get yourself one of these with a curb weight of 1,474 kilograms, so less than 1.5 tons, which is pretty impressive stuff. But Corolla, of course, known for racing around the world. You can get yourself a TCR spec Corolla now that is going to make its way racing in South America. And of course, the British Touring Car Championship has had a Toyota Corolla within its grid midst for the last few years, being managed and run by Speedworks. The Toyota GR Corolla, the hot hatch that makes you go rum rum, ooh my days. What do we think of this?
Oh, this is just a thing of beauty. An all-wheel drive, turbo-trailed C-segment, hot hatchback that's able to do skids. We ever heard this before? Okay, Ford Focus RS back in 2015, but there's been a lot of hype surrounding this. It has been immense. It just looks stunning, let's be fair. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the old Impreza WRX hatch.
Oh, yeah. Good shout.
A little bit, I can see that here. They are wanting to say it's going to be a bit of a direct rival to the Honda Civic Type R. I'm not really feeling that, especially when the Yaris GR couldn't do it. This car's a lot heavier, so I'm not really imagining how it's going to be keeping up. I don't know when I get ahead of myself because we're not sure if it's going to be sold in the UK yet.
Yeah.
To which I say, fine, I don't want it anyway. But the UK hasn't been the biggest fan of a hot hatch. I don't know why, especially the four-wheel drive ones. But this is a thing of beauty. The body shape on it, the lines are absolutely perfect. The glide down from the roof onto the glass front and onto the bonnet is beautiful. Loving the air vents in the bonnet as well. Sharp down at the back as well. And the free exhaust, because why the hell not? And even the interior looks sharp as well. The mix of the black leather and the suede, striking. No idea of the cost, no idea if it's coming, but I want it. Yeah.
Wow.
This is stunning.
That's the first time something's pushed you to that point.
Yeah,
in a while. Like you say, all rumours are that it's not coming to the UK, but it's probably going to come to Japan, almost certainly, obviously. Possibly Europe, possibly the US, possibly South America. So anywhere, could be coming anywhere, up to and including the UK. Corolla pushing the Honda Civic Type R, as you say, potentially a rival for the Golf GTI. Hot hatches in the UK have not been as popular as they have been in the past. Correct. I'm not entirely sure why. Cost of living, potentially. The fact that they're very expensive now. Answers on a postcard if you're interested in a super hot Corolla. You can guarantee it's going to be a belter. You can guarantee it's going to do well. You can guarantee from a performance perspective it will do well. And they have raced successfully. This is the thing. They are racing in the British Touring Car Championship very well. They've had wins, podiums, and then they came out in the TCR Championship, Touring Car Championship in South America, towards the back end of last year, and also ran pretty well. So there's pedigree there. I wouldn't buy one for a variety of reasons. I'm not really. I mean, it looks like a Corolla. That's one of them. Aggressive nonetheless. I couldn't. It's just not my thing, I'm afraid. I'm not.
When it comes to a personal thing, I can respect that, but you can also respect what they're doing. Like 100%. Right now, I love what Toyota are getting up to. They're making a lot of the other brands in their class look quite dull. Yeah. So I take my hat off to Toyota on the sport version of that.
I agree. I completely agree. This GR really is. Do you know what? For what it is, absolutely smashing. I'd have to go for the circuit version, which has got a massive spoiler on the back, aggressive paneling, all that kind of thing. Because if you're going to go, you might as well go, right? But not for me. I'm afraid. But tell us what you think. Would you be interested in the GR Corolla if it came to the UK? And if you aren't, are you a Hot Hatch fan that would be interested in something else entirely? Very interested to know what you think. Other Stew has put a big tick in his purchasing box for that one, which is quite interesting, actually. So there you go. High praise indeed, Toyota. Well done, because it takes a lot to turn his head.
And now, some more stuff from Is It Fast. Yay!
Topical. Now, we don't often delve... I mean, I say we don't often delve into the political, but we actually do. News, as we continue with Toyota, news from Toyota that they have reasserted their commitment to Jesus. They have reasserted their commitment to car production in the UK after it was suggested via a number of outlets that the Japanese manufacturer had threatened to withdraw from the UK after the government had planned to speed up its transition to the EV market. They being Toyota, have invested £240 million in UK operations to produce the current Corolla model. Interesting. And they aren't due to make any imminent investment decisions regarding local manufacturing for a little while. So Toyota Corolla is currently produced at the firm's Burniston factory in Derbyshire and employs around 3,000 people. It also produces engines at Deeside in North Wales. So we have already seen a number of casualties in the automotive industry in the UK, with Honda leaving Swindon. And on the other side, you've got Nissan saying that they're not going to leave Sunderland due to a variety of factors. Obviously, one being the Brexit conversation. We are no longer part of the EU, which does give certain logistical issues when transporting things around. There's no denying that. But Toyota is saying that they're not going to go anywhere. They've already paid the best part of £250 million to manufacture the Corolla here. So they're going to probably continue until end of life, I imagine, and then they might disappear. Who knows? Quick comment on this before we move on and we don't get ourselves in sludgy hot water.
Yeah, very much so. Obviously, the Department for Transport has prepared to introduce targets that require a higher percentage of new car sales to be zero emissions each year from 2024. Not exactly a million miles away now. That you're kind of approaching an 18-month barrier for it. But Toyota said that they're on course for 100% of its models sold to be zero emissions by 2035, easy for me to say. These rumours always start somewhere. Disappointed to hear it, but obviously encouraging to hear that Toyota have come out and rubbished them pretty darn quickly. 3,000 jobs is no small drop in the ocean for large communities. So let's hope they're good to their word.
Yeah. We thought we'd just touch upon it because it is, a major part of what we do. Car manufacturing in the UK, although we don't really make any cars of any great note with British branding anymore, we do churn out a lot of cars out of this island across Toyota and Nissan. And so hopefully there is smoke with no fire here, because it would be quite a few jobs disappearing from a part. Well, we all need them. About to say from a part of the world that really needs them, but let's be honest, we all need a job. Otherwise, we are going to be in hot water. But do tell us what you think about this potential non-news. Could be non-news, but could be news nonetheless. Do you work at Toyota in Derbyshire? Have you heard any rumblings, or is it all good? I'm sure it's all fine. But Corolla set to be made for a while yet, so I don't imagine there'll be any imminent danger. But I must stress that I am not an economist, so I don't really know.
The question that all petrol heads love to ask: C'est rapide? Is it fast? Ist schnell?
Dearie me. I told you to blow the bloody doors off. That's right. We're talking about
the Mini guy was last week.
The Mini guy was last week. Yes, hot off the heels of Brad Rabbit, who drives a Mini, showing up on the show. You may have heard of David Brown Automotive. David Brown Automotive specialise in tinkering with old models of mainly British cars, Aston Martin, and of course the original Mini. And this week they announced a very special edition of its Mini Remastered in collaboration with Marshall. Now, Marshall are very famous for making what, Stu?
amplifiers for your electric guitars.
Amplifiers for your electric guitars. So this is the Mini Remastered Marshall Edition. It's a limited run resto mod that celebrates the 60th anniversary of the British company. So there's going to be 60 cars. They're all going to be finished in something called Marshall Black with gold detailing. All very reminiscent of the actual amplifiers themselves. So the gold trim, the gold mesh on the front of the car, the interior obviously gold lined with all the usual beauties, and a Marshall amplifier in the back, making the back useless as hell. But who cares? Who cares? All very, very cool. So if you are listening, just imagine a classic Mini with Marshall amplifier stuff all over it. But it looks great, doesn't it? It kind of looks like a mini amplifier. You're quite excited about this, aren't you?
I really am. I'm not enjoying this show because there's nothing for me to slag off so far. I normally like to get my teeth sunk in and kind of put out stupid opinions that people then rip to shreds on our social media platforms of choice. Absolutely loving the grill of this, giving a real kind of Bakelite radio / Marshall amp look to it. The gold finish seals it. Gold rims on the wheels look brilliant. Leather interior is even better. Black leather, gold thread finish. Even the amp dials on the radio, things like that. The pedals have got play, pause, fast forwards, logos on them. It's just brilliant. Okay, we don't really need the boot space because there's an amp in there. Do you realize under the bonnet as well, 1.3 litre A series engine. It will give you 0 to 60 in about 10 days. But top speed of 90 miles an hour. The only problem I've got with this is I'm 6'5". There is no way in hell that I'm fitting in this thing without taking the front seats out and stretching my arms forwards to do it. Yeah. But the attention to detail is marvelous. Have you seen the price of it?
Why don't you tell us how much this one of 6? I mean, there's 60 of these, right? So super limited. Yeah. They're all pretty much handmade, just to give it some cushion before you do this. How much is it?
The price hasn't been officially revealed, but they believe it is going to cost £100,000.
That makes sense.
Yeah, sadly, I don't think I need to ask the accountant about this one, but £100,000 for a toy is a little bit mental, however amazing it looks. Yeah. If you were to see this at a motor show, you're going to turn a heck of a lot more heads than your standard car. It is awesome. I'm not going to slag it. It's brilliant.
Yeah. They've been making these for the last couple, not the Marshall version, but they've been making these resto mods at DB Automotive for the last little while. They're all priced at somewhere between £100,000 and £200,000. You know, some of them are for dotting around Kensington. Some of them have been kind of special editions, have been redone to go track, kind of a more track focused approach. And this is just another in the line of them. I think they must be selling quite well. I haven't seen one. In fact, that's not true. I've seen one.
Did you?
I have.
What version did you see?
One of the original when they first started booting them out.
Nice.
I can't remember the actual title of it. I'm sorry, everybody, but it was possibly even at an event. But I've seen one and they look great. I love the old minis. I would never have one. I mean, I'm 5'8", so I'm all right. You're
on your tippy toes.
I'm 5'8" and a sniff on my tiptoes, so I'm fine in one of these. But and a mate at college had one as well, and it was pretty fun to zip around back when they weren't the cool thing to have, back when all you could afford was. But yeah, tell us what you think. I think it's very cool that they've combined with Marshall to create something very special. I know producer Alex, this would be right up his street. Yep. I don't know. I did that. He's not in the room. Awkward.
He's not escaped again, has he?
Yeah, he's constantly out and about, mate. It's just it's like trying to keep a rat in a bucket with a hole in it. But the Marshall 60th anniversary edition of this DB Automotive Mini. Tell us, what do you think? Obviously, highly unlikely you're going to get one, but if you're getting one, let us know. We'd love to have a tinker with it. But resto mods coming up trumps once again.
Yeah, crank it up to 11. Brilliant.
Crank it up to 11. It doesn't go to 10. It goes to 11. But why don't you
That's
just make
clever.
10 the loudest? But then it wouldn't go to 11. If you haven't watched Spinal Tap, you haven't lived.
Yeah.
I might watch that tonight now. But do tell us what you think.
It's 7 p.m. It's a Wednesday. Must be time for Is It Fast?
Must be time for Is It Fast? And from one German manufacturer to another, BMW. Oh, there's going to be some hate in the comments for that one. BMW very recently acquired Alpena, and as per magic, a couple of weeks later, Alpena have announced their latest incredible contraption. So Alpena, if you don't know, are the high-end tuning division of BMW, or used to be out of house, but are now in-house after their recent purchase by BMW. And Alpena have given us this. If you're watching, you are looking at the BMW Alpena B4. And so Alpena take a standard BMW, normally the M variant, and do its tinkering with it. So this is based on the 4 Series Grand Coupe, which looks incredible. It's using a tuned version of the S58 twin turbocharged 3-litre straight 6 petrol engine, 488 brake horsepower, 538 pound-foot of torque that is powered through an 8-speed automatic gearbox, and basically is just an absolute contraption. It is beautiful. It has got itself it's actually slightly quicker than the M4 competition, just so you can kind of give it some sort of rating on your how quick is this a meter that I know you all have at home. 0 to 62 miles an hour, 3.7 seconds. Top speed topping out 187 miles per hour. I am not a fan of the 4 Series Grand Coupe, but I am a fan, weirdly, of the Alpena B4, which is essentially, well, exactly the same thing, just fettled with. Alpena are a slightly more refined version of the M series. They're not big, they're not shouty, they're not leery, but they are incredibly quick, they are for a discerning motor fan who wants something quick, yet luxurious, comfortable. I probably, if I had the cash, would choose an Alpena product over an M product, depending on how I was feeling, just to put it out there. The Alpena B4. How do we feel? I feel good about it.
Yeah, it's expected to be the final addition to the marquee current generation lineup of the kind of the modified BMWs for it. Alpina have done such a good job filling this gap between the 4 Series and the M4 that they've been granted rear doors for the first time. So it's a little bit like your mum giving you a spoon to your custard. Fair play there. But unlike the M4, the B4 geared towards providing not only high-driven dynamics and this kind of comfort, relaxing touring experience. Very, very classy-looking interior. The wood panel finishing is very nice, and I actually really like the built-in LCD screen. Far too many cars nowadays effectively just wall-mounting them and plunking them on the dashboard. Deliveries getting underway in July. Do you know how much it is?
I don't actually. I reckon it's £67,500.
You are after an absolute massive bargain. It's going to be just shy of 81,000.
Yeah, but I will only pay.
Yeah, and that's fair. And I look forward to you having this conversation at the dealership.
Yeah. It'll happen.
you can look at this car and you wouldn't necessarily know it's an Alpina. Apart from the split grille at the front, makes it look like a big metal butterfly. It really just is a posh BMW with a bit more go. I'm a little meh about it. I can understand the excitement. Not slagging it. I don't know if it's the kind of the car for the value.
Okay, that's interesting. I unsurprisingly absolutely love it. It is obviously a car that is right up my street. I recently test drove a 2-door coupe 4 Series with the intention of adding it to the fleet. Waiting times didn't bother. Long story for another day. Alpina, yeah, they've essentially, it's the only way to get an M4 Grand Coupe, which is, not a bad thing. I think it looks classically Alpina with the pinstripe down the side, the Alpina graphics in there, Alpina on the front, obviously Alpina within, and the special Alpina wheels. But the real magic is under the bonnet, as you say, just absolute gurgling. I think 80 grand's actually a really good price for this. If you're going to get yourself an M4 competition or an M4, you might as well just go for this, in my opinion. I mean, a completely different dynamic, completely different drive for a completely different kind of person. Alpina is a very special brand. It's a very special thing. I fully intend to own an Alpina by the end of my life. Just something, whether it's a B3 or a B5 or something.
Even a keychain. Yeah.
Even a keychain. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think they're cracking. But tell us what you think. The Alpina, as Stu rightly says, the last in this current generation before things start to move over. How do you feel about it? Is this something that wets your whistle? Because it's something that certainly wets mine. Maybe not 80 grand, eh? Might be a little bit rich for my blood, but there we go. But I'll tell you what you could do in an Alpina.
Go on.
An epic challenge. Let's just see if we manage to make it or not. Here we are. So far, we've been on the go for 7 hours. We're going to do it. Come this far.
All the way to Fife, to Knockhill.
The home of British racing. Knockhill, here we come.
Ooh.
Feature-length piece live only on Is It Fast's YouTube and website. 7 p.m. Friday the 8th of April. Yeah.
Yes, it is, Dave. Yeah.
There you go. Head over. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure that you click all the little bells and notifications to make sure that you catch what is a very, very, very special program that is perfect for car fans, motorsport fans, British Touring Car Championship fans, and fans of racing circuits everywhere. I'm not going to divulge much more detail than that. You're going to have to watch. But Stu and myself, we went and did something very special, and you need to watch it. It's incredible.
If we do say so ourselves.
If we do say so ourselves, but it is... we've only just recovered. It was quite special. Anywho, welcome to Tick Talk, the weekly show where we review and talk about things that go on your wrist. And this week we have something pretty special to talk about. Every year, Rolex basically do kind of like this big announcement, and they talk about the watches that are going to be available for you to probably order with a bit of a waiting list, usually. They don't always talk about what is discontinued, but for today, Stu and myself are just going to quickly run through some of the models that they announced towards the beginning of last week-ish as we go out on this program. So this is not us reviewing these new watches. This is just simply us telling you that there are new Rolexi to get excited about. And I've got to say, they've done a cracking job. So, Stu, what are we looking at?
Yes, we are looking at plenty of new watches coming from Rolex, actually. They have come up with some new limited editions, maybe. There are obviously price slots available. They are going to be your standard 10,000 Swiss francs, which is roughly about £8,000. And to be fair, there is a Rolex for each day of the week or each style or each taste going out there, which is quite good. Which one are we looking at on screen right now, Stu?
So you are looking at the Rolex something Air King. I know there's all these kind of, now I'm not a Rolex, I'm not a watch expert. All right, if you're watching TikTok or you listen to TikTok, it's two geezers that love watches, that talk about watches. Sometimes we own them, sometimes we don't. And Rolex, I mean, lots of watch people use all the long, and I know that's important. I know it is. Don't slate us. But this is the new Air King.
Yeah.
There you go.
Very nice. Love the classic black face on it there. Are the numbers a bit big? I don't know.
They're big for me. Based on, I know obviously
Yeah.
we're not wearing these watches. We're not reviewing these watches. Do please go out and try it on for yourself. But it's I quite like it. I think the new Air King. Should we work on a yes or no? New Air King.
For me, this one's a no. It's missing the dates on it.
Cool.
So no for me.
So, no for you. Yes for me. But you know my watch collection. This is obviously the kind of thing I would bloody have. Let's be honest. But I quite like it. I think it's nice. There's also the bezel you can get with ridges on it now for the first time I read, which apparently Rolex fans are going mental for, which is fair enough. I wouldn't say no to either of those, to be fair. So yes, the Air King, yes from me, no from you. What else did they announce? This is the GMT Master 2. Talk us through this one.
Really like the bicolor bezel on it. The Cyclops magnifying for the date window is actually brilliant. There are going to be different options with regards to the bracelet, whether it is the Jubilee or the Oyster for it, with the easy link adjustment system for the clasp, which is cool. But I'm never a fan of equal rights or lefts. This is a left-handed Rolex. As well, really up there with left-handed golfers, like my dad would say. They should all be shot. But the green and the black configuration really, really works well for me. It's stunning. This one would be a yes.
Yep. I'm left-handed. I wear my watch, therefore, on the wrong wrist, as you would put it. Do you know what's really, really quite ignorant of me? I didn't realise that you could have a left-handed watch. Or a watch for left-handed people. I knew people was, oh, you're wearing your watch on the wrong side. It's like, well, yeah, that's how we wear it. I love this. I don't care, by the way. I obviously I wear my watch on the on my right wrist, and that's fine. Whatever. Yeah. I also play golf left-handed. Actually, no, I don't. I play it right-handed. I'm weird like that.
I've seen you play golf. I don't think it matters.
No, it really doesn't. Yep, this is a yes from me as well. I think this is cracking. I think it looks great. It's a classics dive watch, is it? I don't know. Submariner type. But obviously it's not, because otherwise it would be called a Submariner, not a GMT Master 2 or whatever. Rolex fans, tell me why I'm wrong in the comments. But this is, yes, I think this is great. Probably going to be, I don't know, 15,000 quid?
Oh, probably around there. Yeah. It wouldn't put me off getting this watch with the dial being on the non-traditional side, shall we say.
Thank you. I appreciate your candor there. So tell us
you
what
have been seen, noticed, and feel loved.
I feel loved. They also gave us a new day date. Now, I didn't realise until recently that when a Rolex day date is called the day date, because you can see what day it is as well as the date. Tune into TikTok. Crikey, what a joke. This is cool, isn't it?
Very much so. The Roman numerals for the hour positions is fantastic. I do like a day date watch. For someone who passes out a lot, it's going to be very helpful. The almost kind of aqua blue on the face of it looks absolutely gorgeous, and even having the smaller links as well, I think just kind of adds to the watch. This one is a definite yes for me.
Me too. This is a yes from me as well. This is the one with the dimpled bezel. My bad. I think it's great. I think I was never a massive Rolex fan. If you're interested, viewer, listener, I'm currently in the market for a Tudor Black Bay 58. That's how much I don't fancy a Rolex. I would rather have the Tudor for a variety of reasons. I don't have the money for it, but if someone wants to give me one, I'll take it. But do you know what? Looking at these ahead of today's TikTok, really quite interested in these. I can't afford one either, but I think this one particularly, the day date, really enjoy it. I really enjoy it. So yeah, it's a yes from me as well. But if I was going to spend my hard-earned cash, it wouldn't be on this one; it'd be on the next one.
Yeah, this is an absolute beauty. Very, very similar to a couple of the Tudor styles that are out there.
Yeah.
Quite reminiscent as well of some of the Breitlings, especially with the rubber strap.
Yeah.
There will be a lot of Rolex traditionalists. Obviously, this isn't their first rubber strap ever out there, but the black raised and matted bezel on it is absolutely lovely. Not the biggest face on it, but still has the magnified date window, lifts up. This is lovely. It's a yes from me.
Yeah. So this is the Yacht-Master 42. It's a massive yes from me. I have something that looks similar to this. It's a pullover, and so it's already in my wheelhouse. I think it's cracking. I think it's absolutely smashing. I think you could do much worse than getting yourself one of these, to be honest. Rolex banging out the hits this year, man.
Just you wait.
Whoosh! So we're on to the next announcement that they made. So this is the Datejust 31 Perpetual. No, God, it's so complicated with all the stuff. Oyster something. It's basically the face.
The Rolex Steve.
Yeah, basically. And I know, if you watch TikTok, you're not coming here for exact news. Go and just Google this if you're that bothered. Thanks for watching and all that. But at the same time, we're just a couple of enthusiasts with a bit of time, and we've made a website and a show for it. Sorry, but this is great. We will bring you breaking news when and if we can be asked. But this is got quite a nice face on it because it's got.
Do you think
little?
So?
I mean, I wouldn't own it.
I don't know anybody skipping out to the shops to say, you know what, I must get a flowery-faced Rolex today. It doesn't do anything for me. It does look like a flower effect. They've even got the flower images in the back of the promo for it. Okay, it's something different. You're allowed to expand your brand. You're allowed to try something new, but it will sell. I like the silver raised Rolex crown on the face. That looks really nice. Yeah. But no, the rest of it's a no for me, I'm afraid.
Well, it's even got little precious stones making the center of each flat. I like it. I think it's nice. I mean, it's as I wouldn't buy one, but it is a yes from me.
Interesting. Fair enough.
Yeah. Well.
And finally.
Oh. Jeez. So this is the This is the Oyster Perpetual Yacht-Master 40. If you're listening, don't worry about it. Don't bother googling this one. If you're watching, what are we looking at here?
We are looking at an absolute car crash. It's a little bit like a goldsmith running into a Swarovski crystal factory. This is awful. It has got little, obviously, precious stones. This is probably the most expensive watch that we've shown today. This is what makes it even more baffling. These stones are clear, purple, pink, blue, all the way around. It looks like something you'd get in a gift bag if you went to a Kardashian party. It is blooming awful. I like the plain black face on it, but I don't even think you could pay me to wear this watch. It is that ugly. Just around the bezel. Yeah.
It's a bit gaudy for me. I know Rolex. Every luxury watch manufacturer do this because people need stuff to spend their money on. It would appear there's diamonds and precious stones throughout not just the bezel, but also the actual casing, and it's everywhere. And it's not for me. It's not the worst I've ever seen, and I'm going to put my neck out there and say, is it the Rainbow Daytona?
Oh, it's probably called something like that.
My gosh. I mean, again, I'm not a Rolex guy. I'm not, and this is not a review. Please do go out, try it, see if it's for you. But on the face of it, based on the press release this is quite the hunk of uselessness. Just take the diamonds out and sell them.
I think they could have got away with it if the stones were all one color.
Yeah.
It almost looks like you've kind of invited some kid to decorate it. And this little girl has then put little different colored diamonds. She kind of have two together at the same time, and then she's going to go off and play with it with our Barbie dream house. No,
Yeah.
this is a massive no from me.
It's rubbish, isn't it?
Truly
Massive
is.
no from me as well. But there we go. The Rolex range that they have announced over the last week or so, just sharing with us all the types of Rolex eye that you can get yourself on a waiting list for. Pricings vary, probably, as you say, somewhere between 10 and 30,000 Swiss francs, possibly more, possibly less. But do tell us what you think. Are you in the market for any of these Rolex? Have you noticed that when a Rolex is discontinued, they simply stop talking about it, which is one of these things. A little bit weird, but there we go.
It is fun to obviously talk about a load of watches that neither of us can afford, and so it's easy to be critical. So there you go.
It is easy to be critical. I think more hits than misses, though, between the releases, and even between ourselves, we agree more and more that actually this year they did a good job. So well done. But do tell us what you think.
You're tuned in to Is It Fast? And we're live, which is why it's so bad.
And we are getting to that point in the show where, thankfully for you, the watcher and listener, we're going to be able to say goodnight, goodbye, and adieu. But before we do that, we always like to. I do this every single time. We always like to finish on something a little bit different. Sometimes it does have to come with a warning label. This is one of those things. Now, Stu, if you're listening to the podcast, then we do apologise. This is something that you really do have to watch. We will post it on our socials after the fact. This has come from the wonderful world of Reddit, hasn't it?
It really has. Best described as traffic cam footage of the unluckiest guy in the world. I am going to try my best to describe it for the audio audience out there, but please do. Watch the video. Essentially,
it's 8 seconds. So if people are going to watch this, they're going to have to do it without blinking. Right, you ready? Here we go.
Yeah. Essentially, a car is pulling out. A guy on a moped who's coming up way too quickly is diverted to avoid hitting the white car. Avoid hitting the car. He skids, hits the central reservation lamppost, only to get up and be KO'd by the lamppost pole landing on his head.
Now, just to caveat this, everyone was okay, weren't they?
I really hope so. He's not moving at the end.
I mean, he's wiggling about, though, isn't he? It's so...
Sorry.
I mean, only on Reddit...
I am a terrible person. I cannot stop laughing at this.
I mean, that absolutely hurt. I'm just looking at the comments on Reddit, and apparently everybody was fine. So there we go.
Oh, good to know. The budget of the Final Destination films have really taken a hit. I really wanted somebody to add the 1960s Batman Zonk Biff animations to the screen of this, because it's straight out of Looney Tunes, isn't it? You'd imagine that the footage cuts off before the piano or the anvil lands on top of him, and then the marching band walks over the top of him. It's only
so bad, man. It's so bad.
Credit to him. He actually gets up really quickly after the bike crash, but it's a bit like the universe is saying, "Nope, stay down, you bastard."
It's so bad. It is so bad. It really is. I'm
struggling not to laugh, but actually, I'm not struggling not to laugh at all. I'm just laughing. I bet laughing. That really hurt. And this is. Jeez. And kids, this is why you should always wear a helmet.
Always wear a helmet. Yeah. So we finished this. When I watched this, I was creasing up. I'll be honest. The comments are incredible, as only Reddit can deliver. People saying they're now going to wear a helmet even when they go to the toilet, and then a whole subreddit on the fact that toilets are one of the most dangerous places in the world. But yes, we've got. A poor chap there who it wasn't enough to be hit by a car. His bike then takes out what looks like a street light that then hits him in the head. But yeah, apparently everybody was fine. He wasn't well, just to put it out there. He had to go to hospital, but everybody's fine. And this happened in 2016, so six years ago. But there we go. On that rather earth-shattering point, we do unfortunately, as per, have to say goodbye and good night. But as always, thank you very much for tuning in. If you've listened to us, please do make sure that you listen again. If you were watching us live or after the fact, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you do follow us on your social media platform of choice to keep up with not just our live weekly show, but also all of our other incredible content, which includes, but is not limited to, live motorsport highlights, and of course, feature interviews and articles that can all be found over on our incredible website, isitfast.co.uk. Pop it into any search engine, and because we're amazing, it will show up. But thank you very much from me, as always. And Stu, well done, mate.
Oh, thank you very much. No, really great show. Really enjoyed doing that, as always. Please do make sure to check out everything that we're putting out online. And a final thought for me, if I may. When a man opens a car door for his wife, it's either a new car or it's a new wife. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Let's just see if we manage to make it or not.
Here we are. So far, we've been on the go for 7 hours. We're going to do it. Come this far.
All the way to Fife, to Knock Hill.
The home of British racing. Knock Hill, here we come.